The Patriots keep making moves as we have some major Patriots updates, with New England adding 4 defensive players in the last 24 hours and a flurry of moves. We will tell you all about it right here on Patriots Digest. Welcome, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate you tuning in to today's show. Obviously, got a lot to talk about. 4 different defensive players have been added to the squad. In turn, the Patriots had to release at least 3 players. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. Before that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You see, we have loved the support we have gotten over our past couple of videos. Nearly combined 10,000 people watching, but yet 96% of you who watch these videos are not yet subscribed. So what are you waiting for? Go down there, hit that subscribed. We are going to be your one-stop shop all season long for New England Patriots news, rumors, informations, all the latest on your favorite team. And the best part about it, it's 100% free to subscribe, no purchase necessary, and we got you covered all season long on Patriots news. Let's go to the headline. The Patriots have added 4 defenders to the practice squad in a series of moves. In turn, the Patriots did have to release 3 undrafted rookies. You add 4, you release 3. I'll tell you why in just a moment. Here is the official practice squad that came out yesterday morning. Obviously, we now know that this is completely different, adding a couple different players. However, if you notice, they only released 3. That's because when we had the practice squad yesterday, which, by the way, if you'd like to go back, watch yesterday's video, we talk about most of the players on this squad. And funny enough, the 3 that were released, we really didn't focus on too much. However, there was a player, a part of the International Pathway Program, which, if you don't know, if a player has an IPP exemption, you are allowed to carry 17 players on the practice squad. At the time of yesterday's recording, they only had 16, hence why they could add 4 while releasing 3, because they placed that IPP exemption on David Olajigba, who is a part of the International Pathway Program, obviously meaning he was not from the U.S. With that being said, here is the press release from the New England Patriots saying, quote, "The New England Patriots announced today changes to the practice squad. The Patriots signed defensive back Cory Ballentine, defensive lineman Corey Durden, defensive lineman Fabian Lovett, and linebacker Mark Robinson to the practice squad," end quote. Now, Mike Vrable said this right off the jump yesterday. He had his press conference when the practice squad was released, and people obviously asking questions about it because you don't really realize how important a practice squad is until you start having injuries throughout the season. You have people who are pulled up, which, by the way, teams are allowed to pull up 2 practice squad members every single game, and each player can only be pulled up about 3 times per year. So these players are a little bit more important than you think, especially when injuries start being, introduced to the squad. But Vrable said that, listen, this practice squad is going to be molded and shaped throughout the entire year. It's going to be changed really quickly. And, we didn't know how quickly, but immediately the Patriots make some moves. They release 3 undrafted rookies, and they add these 4 guys. We're going to go through each and every single one of them right now. We start with Cory Ballentine, the defensive back. He played in the Packers organization. As we go here to the quote from Oliver Thomas of Pat's Pulpit, he had a great report. We'll have his link in the description below if you want to go check it out. But he says this about Ballentine. 29, he was selected by the New York Giants in the 6th round of the 2019 NFL Draft at number 180 overall. The 5'11", 196-pound former Cliff Harris Award winner out of Washburn has appeared in 69 games since then, a veteran of 11 starts in the secondary. Continues on to say Ballentine has also spent time with the New York Jets, Detroit Lions, Atlanta Falcons, Arizona Cardinals, Indianapolis Colts, and most recently, the Green Bay Packers. His career includes 100 tackles, 1 interception, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 recovery, while averaging 23.7 yards per kickoff return, end quote. Couple of things to talk about with Cory Ballentine. The defensive back area for the New England Patriots is a very good room. If you go back to, the ideology of this team, obviously Christian Gonzalez, we hope will be ready for week 1, but knowing they want to have very good defensive backs, obviously Carlton Davis being signed this offseason, we know that Jones can be out there at any point in time. They want to have depth. Mike Vrable has constantly preached that the secondary, they're going to have Gonzalez, they're going to have Carlton Davis, but there's going to be some rotation out there in a lot of different ways to keep everybody fresh. So I think that is why they're so kind of inherently focused on the defensive back room. And a big thing with the practice squad, if you noticed in this last quote, I want to go back here, very bottom part of it, he has 23.7 average yards per kickoff return. That is a huge thing when it comes to practice squad, is being able to play the special teams, being able to be malleable. and, play different positions, play different parts of the field. That is going to make you more useful to an organization where if there's injuries, we know we can use you in different areas of our team. So that's a big part when it comes to it. Okay, so Cory Ballentine is the first guy we talked about. Let's go to defensive lineman Cory Durden here, or rather Mark Robinson, excuse me. I clicked the wrong button. Let's go Mark Robinson. Oliver Thomas again at Pat's pulpit saying, quote, Robinson, 26, landed with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 7th round of the 2022 draft class at number 255 overall. The 5'11", 235-pound linebacker by way of Presbyterian Southeast Missouri State and Ole Miss was waived by the organization that drafted him during 53-man roster cutdowns. Continues on to say, quote, through 38 games in the AFC North, Robinson totaled 45 tackles, 1 sack, 3 forced fumbles, and 4 starts. He has seen 203 snaps on defense and 619 snaps on special teams, end quote. Once again, Mark Robinson being a linebacker, it's a place that we really saw an overhaul for Mike Vrable, and I think that's something to note is when you have a new head coach and you see the positions, especially on defense, that really comes out, it's going to be a point of contention, let's say, for the organization to make sure that, well, you increase that position's whereabouts. And Mike Vrable has done that and then some by getting Mike Robinson and, of course, big linebackers we signed, Robert Spillane, a couple other guys. We go to the Fabian Lovett signing. Defensive lineman Lovett, 25, entered the league as an undrafted free agent with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2024. The 6'4", 315-pound former Mississippi State and Florida State defensive lineman spent the duration of his rookie campaign on the practice squad, end quote. He ended up getting released after the Super Bowl. Obviously, if he wasn't able to make the 90-man roster for the Kansas City Chiefs, kind of something to put there as well. But obviously, the Patriots like what they saw, and they wanted to get him. And the releasing 3 people is something to definitely have of note. Let's continue on to the final player in this list, that is Cory Durden. We go all the way, there it is. Quote, Durden, 26, went undrafted to the Lions in 2023. The 6'4", 305-pounder out of Florida State and North Carolina State later logged a stint with the Los Angeles Rams. Durden stands 8 games and 13 tackles into his career across 128 snaps on defense and 37 snaps on special teams, end quote. You'll notice that even as defensive lineman, he's going to be producing some on special teams, which in reality, most people in the NFL can play special teams. It's not like something you're like, oh, if you can do that, you're more valuable. Like, most people can do it. However, if you have experience on that, especially at the full NFL level, not just, playing college, whatever, it's going to allow you to be put on more practice squads, to be signed in a better manner. And obviously with the NFL, there's so many players. You talk about 53-man rosters and then 17-man practice squads or 16-man practice squads. You're going to the point where you're having, around 70 players at a total roster when you include the practice squad. So it adds for a bunch of players, like this guy, like these 4 guys that can be added to the practice squad, and, they can play special teams. They can play in different areas, and that's something that is good. Obviously, kind of late to get to this point, but I wanted to show it to you as well. Obviously, they had to release 3 players. Those 3 players are here put by Oliver Thomas of Pat's pulpit, saying, quote, to make room on the practice squad, tight end G. Scott Jr., linebacker Cam Riley, and cornerback Brandon Crossley have been released, end quote. Obviously, you understand that the Patriots signed a cornerback, so that makes sense why Brandon Crossley was released. They signed a linebacker, so that makes sense why Cam Riley was released. And the Patriots feel pretty comfortable with their tight end room, so no need to keep an extra tight end on the practice squad. And they add, of course, the guys that I just mentioned. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Obviously, not huge moves, but some guys that, maybe could show out later on the season. Obviously, they get to be called up 3 times this year, and you can call up 2 practice squad members every single game. But we appreciate you watching. We're going to have more videos throughout the day, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time here on Patriots Digest. Peace out, guys.